All right, guys, we're back for video number 2. This one is going to be specifically focusing on phrases. There's 4 different types of phrases that we're going to cover. Participial phrases that start with participles, gerund phrases that start with gerunds, appositive phrases, and prepositional phrases. So let's start with participles. All right, so a participle is a verb plus ing that acts like an adjective. And sometimes it can also have an ed ending, but we're going to stick to present participles, which are verbs plus ing that act like adjectives. All right, so in this sentence, eating all day, he was full. Eating all day is the participial phrase, and the word eating begins the phrase. It is the participle. It's the verb to eat plus ing, and it's describing him. So it's describing a noun, because remember, adjectives describe nouns. So in this sentence, melting in the sun, she decided to leave the beach. Take a minute and think about what the participial phrase is. If you thought that the participle phrase was melting in the sun, you are correct. It's the verb to melt plus the ending ing, and it acts like an adjective because it describes the noun she. Now, both of the last 2 examples were in the same format. So let's look at one with a different grammatical structure. So for this one, you can see it's a little different than the last 2. She was at the game cheering Sam on. So the participle in this case is cheering, and the phrase is cheering Sam on. That's the participial phrase. You have the verb cheer plus the ing ending, and the whole thing acts like an adjective because it's describing the noun she. All right, so before we move on to gerunds, let's just review. Participles are verbs with ing endings that act like adjectives because they describe nouns. Gerunds are verbs with ing endings that act like nouns. So it's a verb plus ing, and it acts like a noun. So what's the difference between gerunds and participles? Can you think of it? So if you said that participles equal adjectives and gerunds equal nouns, then you are correct. All right, so let's start to process gerunds. All right. Here we have the sentence, dancing in the rain is the best stress relief. The gerund in this case is acting like the subject. You have the verb to dance plus ing, so you have a gerund that's acting like a subject, which means it's acting like a noun. And so this whole phrase is the gerund phrase. Dancing in the rain is the best stress relief. To make it even simpler, you could just eliminate the extraneous information in the sentence, and you could say dancing is the best stress relief. And now you have dancing as the clear subject of the sentence. It's not in a phrase, but it might help you see that it's acting like the subject. Let's do this one together. The gerund phrase is in a different place in the sentence now. You can see that it's not the subject of the sentence. The subject of the sentence is she. She is doing the enjoying. She's the subject of the verb enjoys. And so you want to ask yourself what kind of verb you have here. You'll recall from the last YouTube video that I did that enjoys is an action verb, which means that it either has a direct object or an indirect object, not a predicate nominative or a predicate adjective. So then once you've found the subject and found the verb, and you've asked yourself what, you have your answer for what the direct object is. And in this case, she enjoys dancing. So objects are all nouns, right? And here you have the word dance plus ing. So in this case, dancing in the rain is the gerund phrase that is acting like the direct object in the sentence. I know that can get really confusing, so let's just review all the different ways that gerunds can serve in a sentence. They all have to be nouns. So a gerund can be the subject, it can be a direct object, it can also be a predicate noun, and it can be an object of a preposition. These are the ways that you will see gerund phrases being used in sentences. Let's do one more. Okay, so here we have it not as a direct object and not as a subject. We have the gerund phrase acting like something else. Can you think of what it is? Remember, you want to find the subject and you want to find the verb. Then you want to ask yourself what kind of verb you have. And once you recognize that is a linking verb, you can then determine whether you have a predicate noun or a predicate adjective. And in this case, you know that to share plus ing is acting like a noun in the sentence. You know that you have a linking verb. And so sharing his ice cream cone is actually acting like the predicate nominative in the sentence. To eliminate some of the clutter, just think of the sentence like this. Oliver is sharing. He is president. She is a YouTube sensation. Any of those become predicate nominatives because of the word is, right? Because you have a linking verb there. This is getting a little bit away from gerunds, but I just want you to remember that when you have a linking verb, right, you know that you have a predicate nominative afterwards if the word that follows it is a noun. So he is the president, she is a sensation. These words are the predicate nominatives. And it's the same as saying he is sharing. This is still the predicate nominative. It's just a gerund acting like a predicate nominative. And it's a gerund because it's the verb to share with ing. If you feel like you can keep going, if you feel like you have participles and gerunds down pat, the next thing we're going to do is the appositive phrase. And the trick with the appositive phrase, you guys, is the comma. If there are two commas that are setting off a word phrase, make sure you ask yourself, is it an appositive? So let's take a look at this sentence. The teacher, the one who is a YouTube star, is my favorite. So you know the subject is the teacher. I did this wrong. Hold on a second. The teacher, the YouTube star. Sorry, everybody. We all make mistakes. Give me a chance. Hold on. Okay. Geez, it was going so well. The teacher, comma, the YouTube star, comma, is my fave. Okay, so the appositive phrase in this sentence is the YouTube star because it's renaming the teacher. So appositive phrases are noun phrases that rename the subject. And remember, oftentimes they're set off by commas. So that's your little trick to remember that. Here's another one. The teacher, an extremely stringent person, almost always says no. All right, so what you want to do is identify the subject, the teacher, note that there might be some commas, and then think about, is the phrase renaming the subject, an extremely stringent person? Yeah, it is. It's renaming the teacher. So here you have another example of an appositive phrase. Appositive phrases are noun phrases that rename the word it follows. Remember, they're always noun phrases. So that means that appositive phrases can act like different types of nouns in the sentence. Okay, so let's just say that again. Appositive phrases are noun phrases that rename the word it follows. They act like nouns and they rename the word it follows. They can't actually act like other nouns in the sentence. It's not the same thing as a gerund phrase, for example, that can act like a direct object. Sorry about that. An appositive phrase is just a phrase that renames the word it follows. Also, how do you like this awesome point that I just discovered? The last one we'll do today is just the prepositional phrases. I know a lot of you guys already know this, but remember, prepositions are all the different things you can do to a cloud. You can be under it, you can go through it, you can be above it. There is a list of them in Correct Writing. There's also a bunch of that lists online, and check out YouTube videos for good songs on all the prepositions if you're having a hard time remembering what they are. They denote location, okay? And the thing to remember about prepositions is they always have an object of a preposition. And an object of a preposition is just the noun that comes after the preposition. So let's do a couple. Under the tree. You see here that tree is the noun that follows the preposition under. And so tree is the object of the preposition. Above the cloud. In this one, above is the preposition. What do you think is the object of the preposition? I hope out loud you said the word cloud. Yes, cloud is the object of the preposition there. Prepositions can act like adjectives and adverbs, and we're going to save some of that for later in the winter term. So for now, I just want you to be able to recognize the preposition and recognize the object of the preposition, and then identify the entire thing as a prepositional phrase. All right, thanks for watching our second YouTube video. Let me know if this one helped or not. And if you need more help, don't forget you have the resource of Correct Writing. You have a lot of other teachers who do amazing videos on YouTube on grammar. Grammar Bites is a great website. Grammar Girl is a great website. You can use your peers to help you, and then always, always, always ask me if you have any questions. So there are the 4 types of phrases: gerunds, participles, appositives, and prepositions. Have a good one.